Hello folks, this is Jason from Mysterious Wilderness, and today we're venturing into the land between the lakes, an isolated area nestled between Kentucky and Tennessee. This 170,000 acre stretch of dense forest and rugged wilderness is not only known for its breathtaking beauty, but for the dark and chilling legend that haunts it, the legend of the Dogman. For decades, locals and visitors alike have reported terrifying encounters with a creature that defies all explanation. Described as a hulking figure, part man and part wolf, the Dogman of Land Between the Lakes is said to roam the shadowy forest, hunting in the night and leaving nothing but fear in its wake. The creature's glowing eyes, towering presence, and beastly howls have made it one of the most enduring and terrifying cryptid legends in American folklore. But what is it that people are seeing? Could it be an undiscovered beast, a creature of Native American legend, or simply a figment of our darkest fears? In this video, we'll uncover the eerie history, terrifying sightings, and spine-chilling evidence surrounding the Dogman of Land Between the Lakes. Before the Land Between the Lakes became the sprawling, isolated wilderness we know today, it was home to Native American tribes and small rural communities. The area was rich with natural beauty, but its history was filled with tales of eerie happenings and whispered legends. Long before European settlers arrived, Native American tribes, including the Cherokee and the Shawnee, called this land home. For centuries, they passed down stories of powerful spirits and shapeshifters that protected the forest. These beings could take the form of animals, and among them was the wolf, a creature seen as both guardian and a force to be feared. The Land Between the Lakes sits between Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake and spans across the border between Kentucky and Tennessee. For many years, this area was a remote place, with small farming communities and isolated homesteads dotting the land. But in the 1960s, the U.S. government transformed this region into a national recreation area. Residents were forced to leave, their farms and homes abandoned, to make way for what would become the Land Between the Lakes National Recreation Area. In its wake, the forest grew thick, the roads became desolate, and the legends got darker. Before the government's takeover, rumors had already begun to spread about the strange creatures lurking in the shadows of LBL. Hunters and farmers spoke of seeing large, wolf-like figures watching them from the edge of the woods, disappearing before they could get a closer look. As the region became more remote, these sightings became more frequent. By the late 1940s, reports of an upright, dog-headed creature began circulating, solidifying the Dogman legend in Land Between the Lakes. With the creation of the recreation area in the 1960s, the isolation only deepened, leaving miles of uninhabited wilderness where something or someone could easily hide. And so, the legend of the Dogman was born, a creature that locals believe had always been here, watching, waiting for those who wandered too far into its territory. The Land Between the Lakes may be a popular spot for outdoor enthusiasts today, but beneath the surface lies a dark history, one that includes chilling encounters with a creature that defies explanation. Could these ancient legends be tied to the Dogman sightings? Or is there something more sinister lurking in the shadows of this remote wilderness? The legend of the Dogman is more than just whispered folklore. Over the decades, many have claimed to encounter this terrifying creature face to face. These stories, often shared with nervous whispers around campfires, describe a creature that defies logic, an upright beast with the features of a wolf stalking the shadows of the land between the lakes. Perhaps the most infamous and chilling story is that of the 1970s family massacre. According to local accounts, a family of 4 was camping in LBL during a late summer night. The next morning, their campsite was discovered in ruins. Claw marks gouged into the sides of their camper, the ground soaked in blood. The family had been brutally attacked, and their remains were found scattered around the site. Local authorities, it said, were quick to cover up the incident, explaining the deaths as a wild animal attack. But the details never added up. Witnesses who saw the aftermath spoke of inhuman claw marks, much larger than any known predator in the region. And to this day, many believe it was the work of the Dogman, striking in the dead of night. Another disturbing encounter took place in the early 1990s, when a group of hunters ventured into LBL in search of deer. As they stalked their prey through the dense woods, they began to feel as if they were being watched. Then, from behind the trees, they heard a low, guttural growl, unlike anything they had heard in the wild. As they turned to face the sound, they saw it. A massive, upright figure, partially hidden in the shadows. It stood over 7 feet tall, with glowing amber eyes, staring directly at them. One hunter fired his rifle into the darkness, but by the time they reached the spot where the creature had stood, it had vanished, leaving only silence behind. In the early 2000s, another strange encounter took place, this time on a deserted road in LBL. A motorcyclist riding late at night through the empty stretch of road suddenly saw a large, dark figure dart across his path. The figure moved on 2 legs, running with incredible speed and vanishing into the tree line before the rider could fully comprehend what he had seen. Shocked and terrified, the rider reported the incident to the local authorities, describing the creature as a muscular, dog-like figure with glowing eyes. In another chilling account from the 1980s, a man staying in a remote cabin in LBL reported hearing strange noises outside his window late at night. Footsteps, heavy breathing, and the sound of claws scraping against wood. When he peered through the window, he saw a large figure standing just outside the tree line, watching him. The creature's glowing eyes and towering stance sent him into a panic. He never stayed at that cabin again, convinced that something inhuman had been stalking him. These are just a few of the many encounters that have been reported over the years. Each story, though different in details, shares one thing in common: the terrifying image of a creature that walks between worlds, part man and part beast. While many sightings of the Dogman have taken place in the shadows of land between the lakes, witnesses have consistently described the same terrifying characteristics. First and foremost is its sheer size. Witnesses report the Dogman standing anywhere from 7 to 9 feet tall, far larger than any known wolf or bear. Its body is covered in dark, matted fur, which allows it to blend into the thick forest. And despite its large frame, the creature is said to move with startling speed and agility, adding to the terror of those who encounter it. Perhaps the most distinct and chilling feature of the Dogman is its glowing eyes. Eyewitnesses describe seeing either amber or blue eyes glowing in the darkness, often the first clue that something is watching them from the shadows. These eyes seem to have an unnatural glow, visible even when the creature is hiding deep within the forest. For many who encounter it, the sight of those glowing eyes is enough to freeze them in fear. Tracks and footprints left behind by the Dogman are another key feature. Witnesses have found large, canine-like footprints much larger than any typical wolf or dog. These prints often show deep claw marks, suggesting the creature has powerful, razor-sharp claws, capable of tearing through trees, cabins, and prey. The prints are unusual not just for their size, but also for their bipedal nature, indicating that unlike wolves or dogs, the Dogman is capable of walking upright on two legs. The head of the Dogman is another defining characteristic. It closely resembles that of a wolf or a large dog, with an elongated snout, pointed ears, and sharp teeth. Some witnesses describe the creature as growling or snarling, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth that give it an even more menacing appearance. This canine head is the most animalistic part of the Dogman, with its humanoid torso and bipedal stance adding to the creature's nightmarish appearance. One of the most unsettling aspects of the Dogman is its bipedal movement. Unlike wolves or dogs, which may occasionally stand on their hind legs, the Dogman appears to move comfortably and naturally in an upright position, much like a human. It's been reported running at great speed, weaving between trees with agility that defies its size. This ability to seamlessly transition from walking on two legs to four gives the Dogman an unnatural, almost supernatural quality. In addition to the tracks, witnesses have also reported finding claw marks etched deep into trees or the sides of cabins in the woods. These marks, often far higher than any typical animal could reach, suggest that the Dogman may be marking its territory, a warning to those who venture too close. Finally, there's the creature's behavior. Witnesses often report an overwhelming feeling of being watched, sometimes long before they actually see the Dogman. This sense of dread seems to accompany the creature, as if it knows how to instill fear in those it encounters. Some describe it as a predator, territorial and unafraid of humans, stalking them silently before disappearing without a trace. It's as if the Dogman is always in control, choosing when and how to make his presence known. With its towering height, glowing eyes, and unsettling intelligence, the Dogman of Land Between the Lakes is a creature that defies easy explanation. Whether it's an undiscovered animal or something more supernatural, the Dogman continues to terrify those who cross its path. The legend of the Dogman of Land Between the Lakes has stirred up countless theories over the years, with researchers and locals alike trying to explain the mysterious sightings. Could it be a creature of flesh and blood, a paranormal entity, or simply the result of misidentification and fear? One of the most popular theories among researchers is that the Dogman may be an undiscovered species, an unknown animal that has evaded scientific classification. This theory suggests that the Dogman is a highly intelligent species of canid, perhaps related to wolves, but with evolutionary traits that allow it to walk upright. Some believe it could even be a descendant of the direwolf, a species thought to have gone extinct thousands of years ago. The dense forest and remote areas of Land Between the Lakes would provide the perfect environment for such a creature to remain hidden, avoiding human detection while thriving in the wilderness. Another theory ties the Dogman to Native American folklore. The Cherokee and Shawnee tribes, who once lived in the region, passed down legends of shapeshifters, beings that could transform into animals to protect the sacred land. Among these stories are tales of wolf spirits or skinwalkers, creatures that could take the form of wolves or other animals to serve as guardians. Could the Dogman be a manifestation of these ancient legends? A supernatural being tied to the land itself, protecting it from intruders. One of the more controversial theories surrounding the Dogman of LBL is that the government may know more about this creature than it lets on. Some believe that the authorities have been actively covering up the existence of the Dogman, especially after incidents like the 1970s family massacre. The isolated nature of Land Between the Lakes, combined with restricted access areas, has led conspiracy theorists to suggest that there could be a government cover-up, hiding evidence of a dangerous, predatory creature lurking in the wild. Could it be that the government has been aware of the Dogman all along, suppressing information to avoid widespread panic? Of course, not all researchers believe in the existence of the Dogman. Skeptics argue that many of these sightings are simply cases of misidentification. Wolves and bears, particularly when standing on their hind legs, can easily be mistaken for a humanoid figure, especially in the dark or under stressful conditions. Some believe that fear and isolation in the LBL wilderness may cause people to see shapes and figures that aren't really there. Some incidents, like the infamous Gable film, have been exposed as hoaxes, adding another layer of skepticism to the Dogman legend. While the Gable film was once thought to be an undeniable proof of the Dogman's existence, it was later revealed to be a staged video. This has led many to question the authenticity of other Dogman sightings, wondering how much of the legend has been fueled by fear, tall tales, and even pranks. For years, researchers and enthusiasts have been drawn to the Land Between the Lakes, searching for evidence of the Dogman. Armed with trail cameras, audio recording devices, and thermal sensors, they've embarked on countless expeditions, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive creature. But despite their efforts, definitive proof remains elusive. Still, strange findings and eerie experiences have continued to fuel speculation that something unknown is lurking in the shadows. Trail cameras have captured shadowy figures moving through the woods, but these images are often too grainy or distant to provide conclusive evidence. Many investigators believe they've come close to capturing the Dogman on camera, but the creature seems to elude detection, its movements quick and silent, slipping out of sight just before the evidence can be solidified. Could it be that the Dogman is aware of these cameras, evading them with intelligence that suggests something more than just a wild animal? Strange audio recordings have also been captured in the LBL region. Deep, guttural growls and long, mournful howls that echo through the forest at night. These recordings, analyzed by both researchers and wildlife experts, don't match the known calls of wolves or any other animals native to the area. Could these sounds be the vocalizations of the Dogman? Many believe they are, but without definitive visual connection to the source, the mystery remains unresolved. Despite years of investigation, concrete evidence proving the Dogman's existence remains elusive. The evidence gathered, blurry photos, large footprints, and strange sounds, points to something unusual, but lacks the definitive proof that skeptics demand. Yet, for those who have encountered the Dogman, there is no question of its existence. They continue to share their experiences, offering chilling testimonies that match the evidence, though they may never be enough to convince the scientific community. With every new investigation, the hope remains that definitive proof is just beyond the next tree line, or the next bend in the road. But until that day comes, the Dogman of Land Between the Lakes will continue to be a creature of mystery, its existence known only to those brave or foolish enough to seek it out. The Dogman of Land Between the Lakes, a creature described as part man, part beast, has haunted the imaginations of locals and paranormal enthusiasts for decades. But is it real? The sightings, evidence, and stories surrounding this terrifying cryptid have left many wondering whether the Dogman is a creature of flesh and blood, a supernatural guardian of the wilderness, or simply a figment of our collective fears. From eyewitness accounts to strange fingerprints and eerie howls, the evidence seems to suggest that something is lurking in the remote forest of LBL. Legends persist for a reason, and whether the Dogman is a real creature, a supernatural being, or simply a product of fear, the land between the lakes remains a place of mystery, a wilderness where the line between reality and myth is difficult to discern. For some, the Dogman represents the fear of the unknown, a reminder that there are still dark corners of this world we have yet to fully understand. So, what do you think? Is the Dogman of Land Between the Lakes a terrifying reality, stalking the forest of Kentucky and Tennessee? Or is it simply a myth that has captured the imagination of those who ventured too far into the wilderness? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Mysterious Wilderness for more chilling tales of the unexplained.